Ever feel confused about what foods are good for you? There seems to be so much back and forth with health studies. Who knows actually what to believe, right? Enough of the smear campaigns out there.
Yes, registered dietitian, nutritionist, and author Dr. Felicia Stoler is sharing the real truth on a few hotly debated foods. And it's so true. There seems to be conflicting information about lots of foods out there.
I know. People always say one day something's good, the next day something's
there's
bad,
like one
and then
study,
back to good again.
Then there's another study.
Right.
Yeah. So what is it with all the flip-flopping?
You know, what happens is we learn more. Like as time goes on, we do research, we learn more, we get better at looking for sort of clues. And you know, the one thing that's really important, I always tell people about research, it has to be repeatable. Like you have to see the same outcomes more than once in order for that to be a fact.
So, until we dive into these foods, what suggestions would you give people at home to really, like, how do you know which studies, which headlines to actually take and know are true?
I think you need to go to trusted sources, because if I were to tell everybody to go to PubMed and look up research studies themselves, they wouldn't know what they're looking at. I mean, scientific research is not easy to get through. I often say that scientists need to do a better job of relaying the science to consumers in terminology that they understand, which is, thank goodness, why I have a job.
As a registered dietitian, where do you go specifically as a source?
I mean, I go to PubMed, and I say I know how to read research studies and look at them and understand them. But for, you know, consumers, you know, go to most of your hospital-based websites. You can go to most of the government-based websites. You know, you have to remember there's a lot of fear-mongering that goes on, and unfortunately there are some people that use the term doctor that don't really understand nutrition, so they relay information that's incorrect. And you really have to look at some of the sources, because some people are really out with a bias, and they want to create some fear-mongering, which is what we want to avoid.
Well, speaking of that, you have no bias right now. You have no agenda, so if you don't have time to do a lot of that research, you're going to help us with a few foods here today, whether or not they're good or they're bad.
Right, we're going to be like fast and furious here. I'm going to start with eggs and talk about the fact that people always think like cholesterol is bad for you, you shouldn't have eggs.
I've heard some change, like people have started to say different things about eggs these days as opposed to before.
So here's the deal.
What's the truth there?
All animal foods contain cholesterol, right? They're the building blocks of hormones. So we need some in our body anyway. But we know that you can eat dietary cholesterol and it doesn't necessarily raise your cholesterol. Some people only eat the whites of the eggs. I'm like, wait, all the good stuff's in the yolk. You should be eating the yolk of the egg. The essential fatty acids are there. That's where all the vitamins and minerals are, because otherwise all you're getting in the egg white is just protein. That's it.
How many eggs can you have a week safely, or is it unlimited?
I think it's unlimited depending on what else you're eating with protein. You know, like for me, a lot during the week, I'm only eating, I eat a lot of eggs. I don't eat a lot of other animal source protein. Coffee, next. People say caffeine is bad for you, makes you jittery. Well, some people don't get jittery when they're having coffee and caffeine. And we know that for some people it may help to prevent diabetes, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. So
I didn't realize that. That's huge.
Yeah.
Go coffee.
Exactly, I know, I love it. I can't get enough of it. Yogurt, so a great source of protein. Again, the bad thing about it is when you're getting it with non-nutritive sweeteners, artificial sweeteners. I hate that. And any of the ones that have all this candy on top of it, you know, that adds extra calories to it. It has essential fatty acids in it. It's a great source of protein, 9 essential nutrients. And I want to talk about an ingredient that's on there. I have a little bit here for you guys to try. It's called carrageenan, and it's basically red seaweed. Here, you can try a little bit of it. And it's
delicious. Red seaweed.
Red seaweed. It's like it's spelled carrageenan, and what it does is it helps as like a thickening agent to sort of bind it together, to help it keep together.
Tastes like seaweed.
Like salty, right?
It tastes like raisins.
You think?
Yeah.
So here's the deal. It's an ocean vegetable. It may help to lower cholesterol, reduce inflammation, and also may help to reduce the amount of time that you have a cold. So some people like to create some fear-mongering around that ingredient. There's nothing wrong with it. It's safe, and we know that it helps.
It looks scary.
It looks scary. It's in yogurt. It's in other smoothies and shakes, and it's fine. It's perfectly safe. I don't want people to be afraid of it.
I like it.
Ready? You're going to laugh. Like, why are these here? The lemons and limes. People read the word ascorbic acid, and they're like, oh my goodness, there's acid in my food. I'm like, no, it's just vitamin C. And we use that to help prevent browning. So for example, like if you ever take an apple and you cut it and you want it to last, you put some lemons on it, and we put limes often in guacamole to prevent browning as well. And then last but not least, I want to talk about palm oil, which is a saturated fat that is used to replace trans fats, and it is used in other food products, and it's perfectly safe, and it has antioxidants as neuro and cardioprotective.
Lots of good information.
Great information. And so much more in your book as well. Where can we find it?
Online, Amazon, or barnesandnoble.com, Living Skinny and Fat Jeans.
There you go. I love that title, too.
Thank you.
Stay connected to Felicia on Facebook, Dr. Felicia Stoler, and find her on Twitter, Felicia, @Felicia Stoler.